So part 2 of lesson 1.2, we're going to start with example 5, where we're finding the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line that passes through two pairs of points. So you see I've written the slope equation, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I've labeled my points x1, y1, x2, y2, and I've plugged in those points, and I got 1/5 for my slope. So now I'm going to go to my point slope equation, which we did in the previous example. Point slope equation is y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. And pick one of the points. It does not matter which one you choose. I'm going to pick the one that has 0 in it, because 0 is an easy number. So I'm going to plug in that x1 and that y1. So -2 and 0. And I'm going to plug in, this is my slope, so plug in 1/5. And now we're just going to simplify. So double negative, go ahead and change that to plus, and we're going to distribute. So y equals 1/5 x plus 2/5, where my slope is 1/5 and my y-intercept is 2/5. Okay, if you want to try part B on your own, go ahead and try that. If you want to pause the video and do it on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to do it right now. So we're going to use our slope equation. First, I'm going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You'll see you get 0 over 3, which is 0. 0 divided by 3 is 0. Now I'm going to do point slope form. Y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. I'm going to pick 2, 2, just because. Plug in my m. Plug in my x. Okay, distribute 0, and you get y minus 2 equals 0. And then we just add 2 to the other side because we want to isolate the y. So this is my slope-intercept form, where my y-intercept is 2 and my slope is 0. Part C, if you want to pause the video and try that one on your own, please do. See if we get the same thing. I'm going to start with slope equation, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I'm getting -5 over 1, which is -5. Then I'm going to go to my point slope equation, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And I'm going to use 0, 4. So I'm going to plug in 4 for the y, plug in -5 for the m, plug in 0 for the x. I'm going to distribute the -5. And that's just going to be 0. And then add 4 to the other side to isolate your y. So here I've got a y-intercept of 4 and a slope of -5. And if we looked at the point and noticed that there was a 0 for the x, like in lesson 1, we should have already known that that was my y-intercept. So that could have been easier if you just did y equals mx plus b. All right, part D, go ahead, pause the video and try this one on your own. My slope would be 1 minus 4 over 3 minus 3, which is -3 over 0. Now remember, if you divide by 0, then your slope is undefined. Now if it's undefined, that means it's not y equals, it is an x equals equation. And you'll notice the x is the same in both ordered pairs, so it's just x equals 3. So this is kind of a trick question. So you'll notice that if the slope is 0, it's a horizontal line, y equals a number. And if it's an undefined slope, it is a vertical line, x equals a number. Example 6, the revenue per share for eBay Inc. was 20 cents in 1998 and 91 cents in 1999. Using only this information, write a linear equation to represent the revenue per share in terms of the year, then predict the revenue per share of 2000. So a linear equation to represent the revenue per share in terms of the year. So in terms of the year, that is your input. And a linear equation to represent the revenue per share. So money is your output. So taking the information given, we're going to create ordered pairs out of those. So this would be an input of 1998 with an output of 20 cents. And then we have an input of 1999 with an output of 91 cents. Okay, we're going to create a linear equation. So we're going to do just what we did in the last one. We're first going to find our slope. So I'm going to do y2 minus y1, which is 91 cents minus 20 cents, over, and you've got your years, 1999 minus 1998. Okay, so we subtract those and we get 71 cents over 1. And so my slope is 71 cents. So that means every year the revenue per share for this company goes up 71 cents. But we're going to write an equation for it. That's just the slope. So pick a point. Let's just choose it doesn't really matter, but let's just choose our starting year. So we're going to do y minus y1, which is 20 cents, equals the slope, which is 0.71, times x minus the starting year, which would be 1998. And then this could be different in different problems. So we could make 1998 year 0, in which case you would make this a 0 and this a 1. So you can do it that way. You still will get 71 cents for the slope, but it would be a little different right now. Should I do that? I feel like I should do that. So I'm going to make 1998, year 0 is 1998. That's going to make this equation easier. So I'm going to use this ordered pair 0.21. So that'd be year 0. And then I'm going to distribute. And I'm going to add 20 cents to the other side. Okay, so that is my equation with year 0 as 1998. Now, if I did not do the 0, 1 thing, then this would be a different looking equation, and you would use it a little bit differently. So here's what I'm talking about. Now they ask us to predict. They're going to predict the revenue in the year 2000. So if I used 1998, I would plug 2000 in for my x. But since I'm using 0, 2000 would be year 2, because it's 2 years after year 0. So in this case, I'm going to plug in 2. Just by using 0, I made it easier to do the computations. Plugging in 2, so that would be year 2000 means x equals 2. Okay, now you're going to type that in. So you've got y-intercept of 21 cents. Or I messed that up. It's 20 cents. Sorry. 20. So you've got a y-intercept of 20 cents, and then you're going to let it grow for 2 years, and it increases 71 cents each year, which is going to give me $1.62. That means in year 2000, it is $1.62. Okay, in example 7, last one, we are looking at parallel and perpendicular slopes. Parallel, the slope is the same. Perpendicular, the slope is the negative reciprocal. They give you a point, and they give you a line. So first we're going to look at the line, and we're going to put it in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to subtract 2x to the other side, and I'm going to divide by -3. Okay, I'm getting 2/3 x minus 5/3. Now we're going to identify the slope. The slope is 2/3. Now that is the original line. They want us to make two new lines. We're going to make a new parallel line and a new perpendicular line, looking at the old line. So if I want to make a parallel line parallel to the old equation, then I'm going to choose the slope to be the same. I'm going to choose my slope to be 2/3. For my perpendicular new line, I'm going to look at the original line, the old line, and I'm going to flip the slope upside down. That's the reciprocal. And I'm going to change the sign of it. I'm going to make it negative. Now, if it starts negative, then you'll have positive. Here it's starting positive, so we get a negative. So these should be opposites in terms of reciprocal. They should be flipped, and then they should be opposite in sign with positives and negatives. Now, they want the whole equation. So we're going to do point slope. So for parallel, part A, we're going to do y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. I'm going to plug in my points. So it'll be minus -1, slope 2/3. The x is 2. That's all given to you. We're going to just simplify this. I'm going to distribute 2/3. That's going to be -4/3 when you distribute. And then I'm going to subtract 1. So 2/3 x. Now when you subtract 1, you'll want a common denominator. So 1 is like subtracting 3/3. So I get -7/3 for the y-intercept. Okay, so that is a parallel line to the original line. Then perpendicular, same thing. We're going to do y minus y1 equals the slope over or times x minus x1. Distribute, change that to positive. So y plus 1 is -3/2x. And then when you multiply that, the 2's actually cancel. So you're going to get +3. And then we're going to subtract 1 to the other side. So we get -3/2x plus 2. So there's your perpendicular line. And that's the end of lesson 1.2.